Hello, everyone who's joining. We'll give it a couple of minutes and just let everyone join first. Good afternoon, Mubasa. Thank you for joining. We are waiting for approximately 100 people to join, so we shall wait a couple of minutes and then we shall start. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. We'll wait till about 4 minutes pass, so we'll give it another minute, maybe a minute and a half, and then we shall start today's renewal webinar. Hello, Iyabi. Hello, Mohammed. Bilal. Hi. Okay, we'll give it 30 more seconds and then we shall start. See, there's approximately 27, 28 members who have joined, which is great to see. Hello, Olufemi. We shall start in 30 seconds. So, timer now, counting down. Just waiting for the final few more to join. Okay, so we're now at 1:04 and we shall start. So thank you very much to everyone who's joined. Today's webinar is being recorded, so if any of you miss any parts throughout the webinar, don't worry, it will be sent through to you by Hayley, who's currently online as well. My name's David, I'm the membership manager. The purpose of today's webinar is for me to go through a live version of completing a member return and a firm return and updating your CPD records to ensure that you do not break any IFA bylaws, regulations, or CPD compliance regulations issues. We've currently got Erin online as well, who's part of the compliance team. So if anyone does have any questions about the firm return or CPD requirements, you can ask either myself or Erin, and we will be able to assist you. As we're going through the webinar, if anyone has any questions, please add them into the chat box. Either myself or Hayley will pick them up. And I will stop periodically whilst we're working through as well. If there is any issues or any technical problems, we will try to deal with them as quickly as we can. So before we start going through the logistics of how to complete a member return, how to complete a firm return, CPD compliance, and actually logging online and so forth, the purpose of today's webinar, as I said, is completing the member return, firm return, and updating your CPD record. But I also want to take this opportunity just to make you aware of some other features within the membership website. So the first one is within the membership administration. So if we click on there, so if anyone wants to follow me, you can do on your own phone or your own PC, anything like that. So you can click on membership administration. Now, the first two parts I want to talk to you about, which are directly related to your renewals, is the retired membership and the changes in circumstances. So the retired membership is if any of you members are coming towards the end of your careers, you're looking to wind down your practice, you're looking to sell your practice, or you've actually retired from business employment and you wish to take on the retired membership. All you do is you simply click on the retired membership option on the website. You download the application form, complete the application form, and send it into the IFA membership department. Really easy, really straightforward. If you're a retired member, you can still offer your services voluntarily, but obviously, if you're getting paid for being in practice, you would need to make sure that you hold a PC, which means retirement might not be the best option for you. However, the option is still there. Okay, so that's the first part I wanted to talk about in relation to retirement. The second one is changes in circumstances. So, again, during the renewal process, the IFA is very proud that it offers reduced membership fees for all of its members, not just UK based, overseas as well, for a variety of different reasons. You will need to provide evidence to support those reasonings, but if you are unemployed, part time employed, so you're on a smaller income, you've had unexpected medical reasons, so you've had to pay out for large surgeries or had to support other family members with large surgeries, you've had to take parental leave, either paternity or maternity leave, or there is just financial hardship and there's unexpected costs. If you can provide evidence of this, we can provide a discount against your membership fee, possibly your practicing certificate fee, and possibly against your firm supervision fee. There is no, for better words, cap. So the actual limit that we can offer is the maximum 100%, but you will need to provide quite extensive evidence for that. It starts at 20%. So if anyone is struggling financially, need any help, please do contact us. Our email address is at the bottom of this part. And as I said, this webpage, this video will be sent through to everyone, so you will be able to have all of these details online. In addition, the IFA also offers the IFA Benevolent Fund as well. So if you do wish to contact, but actually you don't want to let the IFA specifically know, you could contact the IFA Benevolent Fund. They are completely independent and they will just assess you, and we will never know who actually applies or not. Okay. Any questions so far on the membership administration tab? So it's a new tab within the members area. It's specific just for members. And so if there is any questions, does anyone have any questions on any of these parts so far? Okay, fantastic. If anyone does have any questions, obviously just add them to the chat and I'll answer them as we're going through. Fantastic. So the second part before we go in as well is the IFA renewals. So we have an IFA renewals webpage as well. And we're going to be going through how to complete the member return, how to complete the firm return, and how to update your CPD records. However, on the website, we do have within the members tab an IFA renewals 2025. This will talk about how you complete your membership renewal, your practicing certificate, and your firm. So for any stage, if you lose the video, you can obviously look at it through YouTube, but if you can't find it, you can go to the website and look at these pages as well. They will provide step-by-step instructions. You also have a member renewal instructions as well. They talk about late fees, but today we're talking about your membership returns, so we're not going to worry too much about the late fees. And renewal payments again. We will touch on this briefly, but the main purpose of today is your membership return, your firm return, and your CPD, so you're not in breach of any bylaws or regulations. Does anyone have any questions so far? No? No? Okay, fantastic. So we just talked very quickly on the renewal payment. So whilst we're talking about the member return, the firm return, and the CPD compliance, if you haven't paid your fees yet, there is a chance your membership may lapse on the 31st of March. If you've paid part of your membership fees, but for example, not your supervision fees, you may still lapse as well. So you need to ensure that both fees are paid before the 31st of March. If you are struggling financially, we've talked about the changes in circumstances. Please do reach out. We can't assist you if you don't reach out. So if you need any help, please do contact us. The deadline, as I said, is the 31st of March. I can't stress that enough. If it's not paid by the 31st of March, your membership will lapse. If your membership does lapse, you will need to pay a reinstatement fee of approximately £165 and a late fee of £30 and pay the outstanding fee. So there is repercussions if you do lapse. So I want to ensure that actually you do make your payments. If you are struggling, reach out, speak to me, speak to someone from the membership team, We've got Anthony and Erin who are both online as well, both from the compliance team. They will be more than happy to assist you with completing any online returns or making payments over the phone. Any questions before we move on to the returns and the CPD? Okay, so Olafemi has asked a question about payments. What if I set up installments payments? Does late fee apply to that? So if you've already set up an installment payment, then there will be no late fees. If you're setting up an installment payment now and a late fee has already been applied, the late fee will still remain on there. If you are setting up installments, then obviously you've only got 2.5 weeks in order to make the payment. So you will need to have a look at that. My details will be sent round afterwards, Olafemi. So if you do wish to contact me directly, you can do. And just reach out to me either via email or telephone. Okay, so we shall now move on to our first part, which is a member return. Fantastic. So first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you log in. So on the top right, we have login, search, and find an accountant, our three little buttons. So we're going to log into our member dashboard, our unique member portal. So this is my own personal portal. Now you have the option to use your email address or your ID number. Now we will always say use your ID number purely for the fact that you could have the same email address for your membership or your firm. If you're not supervised by us, it's really up to you. But obviously your email address has to be unique and it has to be correct. And obviously if you have a large email address, you might end up getting the wrong number in there. You might accidentally add a space at the end. So it's always easier to remember a 5 or 6 digit number than it is to remember an actual email address. So we shall log in now. Remember, I am doing this live as well. So if anyone does want to follow me live as well, you can. So I will wait a couple of minutes or so. I will wait a minute or so for people now to log in. So if anyone does want to follow me whilst I'm completing the member return, please do so. Whilst I'm giving it a minute for people to log in, as I said, we've got Anthony and Erin both from the compliance team online as well. So if anyone does have any specific questions about your member return, regulation, CPD compliance, or firm returns, please feel free to ask those questions in the chat box as well. Either myself, Erin, or Anthony will be quite happy to assist. Okay, fantastic. I've given it a minute now, so hopefully anyone who wants to follow me should already be logged in. So I've logged in. As you can see from the top here, it says welcome Dave Haste. So that's my name, my unique account. I can see that I know I've logged into my own personal membership. If I was to have logged into my firm, it would have had a firm name up there. Each of these is information that you should make sure that is completely up to date all the time. So we will go through each of these steps. So your membership is telling us what your ID number is, how long you've been a member, what you've paid through to, and your current grade. If you've been a member with us for 7 years, you can apply for fellowship. So obviously if you see 7 years and you're still an associate, please do reach out. We'd be quite happy to review to see if you're eligible to upgrade. And a member of any other professional body. So I'm not a member of any other professional body, so I'm not going to update this at the moment. Personal details, as you can imagine, is all completely the same. So you have your name, your employment. If you have changed your first name or your surname, so you've got married, please do contact us. These are the only two parts you can't change yourself. Everything else you can change yourself. You need to make sure that all of your personal details, contact details are kept up to date. There is a requirement in the bylaws that if any of this does change, you need to be letting us know within 21 to 28 days. It is a potential regulatory breach, so do please make sure you contact us. In addition, if you don't have your correct email address, the correct telephone number, you'll miss out on very important communications. If we don't have your correct postal address, we won't be able to send you out the Financial Accountant magazine. So make sure it's all completely up to date on a regular basis. As we talked about, annual payments. So this is your membership payment. So if you haven't paid your fees yet, please do contact us. We will try and help you as best as we can. But the deadline is the 31st of March. Before we move on to the member return, we'll just touch on the other areas quickly. So professional interests. So if there is any interest that you are currently looking to explore, you're moving into insurance, legal, investments, simply click on these. The more people who tick these options and start to look at these areas, the more we can start to build CPD courses around these. If we don't know what you're interested in, then unfortunately, we're not going to really look at them as CPD options. So please do make sure you are completing these and updating these. If you need to update any passwords, you can do that. Supporting documents, you don't need to necessarily worry about adding any supporting documents because you'll do all of those via your member return and your firm return. So you can ignore that part. Invoices, if you ever need any options of old invoices, so if you need to show it to an employer to claim your money back, or you need a firm return, or sorry, your firm fee for tax purposes, you can find the invoice and you can email it to yourself as well. So that will email you directly the copy of the invoice. And my community is one of the IFA member benefits, as I've talked about. So obviously, if you allow your membership to lapse on the 31st of March, you won't have access to my community, which allows you to network with all of the other members and firms that we have. And we're currently creating more and more subgroups. So there won't just be a subgroup of all members. There will also be a subgroup of retired members. There will be a subgroup of practicing members, of members based in the UAE, based in Pakistan. So we'll continue to build these and build these groups. And the more feedback you can provide to us, the more groups we will provide. So any questions from anyone on any of these sections before I move on to the member return? No, fantastic. Okay. So as we've seen, your member dashboard holds your membership, personal details, contact details, member return, invoices, CPD records. The reason I highlight this is because when we go into your firm return, your firm dashboard, you'll be able to see that they are completely different. We do get a lot of members who will contact us saying that they can't see any of the personal details when they're logged into their firm dashboard and vice versa. They'll end up creating a new record, updating CPD records on their new record, and we won't necessarily be able to transfer those over. So if you log in and you can't see it or it doesn't look the same as what this video shows, don't just start creating new records. Contact us. We will help log you in. So now we're going to log into our member return and we're going to work through it piece by piece. So once you click on your member return, it will come up with the page saying, do you wish to proceed? So we'll click on proceed. And it will come up as this. So as you can see, your member declaration for 2025, it's got my ID number and my name. So I know it's for me. That's your first check. You will have either 4 or 5 tabs across the top. The 4 you will have no matter what will be a member profile, a fit and proper declaration, a CPD declaration, and a confirmation. The public practice declaration will be dependent on whether you already hold an IFA practicing certificate with us or if you're currently based overseas. So you may see this, you may not. Don't worry if you don't see it. If you are supervised by the IFA, you will not see it. If you are in practice but are not supervised by the IFA, you will see a different version of this. But we will work through each section. I've already pre-populated it just so that we can make sure that we're all correct and we're all working through it. So we've already gone through, so I'll just go back to the member tab. So we've already gone through all of our personal details. We're happy that all of the information is correct. So what we will do now, we've clicked on the proceed. It's opened up a new tab, so you can scroll back and forward, which is really useful. And what we can do is we can sign off each part of it. So we're happy that all of the email address, telephone number is all correct. And we tick the box and we move to the next section. So our public practice declaration, it asks you one question, which is, are you currently offering accountancy services to the public for reward? Previously, I've answered yes. In this instance, I'm now going to say no. It then asks, are you planning to move into public practice within the next 12 months? Again, I'm going to say yes. These questions do vary depending on what grade of membership you have. Do answer them truthfully. So if you are planning to move into practice within the next 12 months, do answer yes. The only reason we ask that is because then we can support you. We can make contact with you and make sure that actually you have the correct PII, you have the correct ICO, you have a DBS in place. So you have everything ready to go, as opposed to simply submitting us an application form and not being ready. So we click next. The next part is the fit and proper. So all of these are questions that if this is not your first renewal, they're all the same as what they was last year. We do change the meaning of them occasionally and change a few words depending on as the regulations change and the bylaws change, but they are pretty much the same as what they were last year. If you answer yes to any of the questions, as you can see here, you will answer yes, and a comment box will appear below. So we've used this as a test example before, but we could say, been the subject of any debt collection agencies, court action, or HMRC, or the IFA or third party. So we could say here, IFA complaint. It's important that you answer these truthfully. This is one of your mandatory requirements when completing your renewals with the IFA. So if you do provide false answers, potentially that could end up being a disciplinary case. So if you provide truthful answers, then it will show that you've cooperated with the IFA, you've been honest, and we will try and assist you as best as we can. So we'll answer all of the questions. So I've answered no for the remainder of the questions. And once I'm happy, I simply click next. So your CPD is now your next part. So we've already done 3 parts of that, and we've only been maybe 5 minutes or so. CPD, it's very important that all members of the IFA comply with CPD. The IFA, so this is the 3rd renewal webinar that I have run myself during the renewal process. This is the only one I'd run which is live, so it shows you how to log in, how to complete everything. The previous 2, I had some slides in relation to CPD where actually we had run over 150 hours of CPD last year. We've already got CPD events booked in for this year. The IFA conference is already booked in, which will actually have the IFA awards at the end as well. So when we finish, I will show you where that is on the website. So if anyone wants to participate or nominate either themselves or someone else, they can do that. But there is loads of IFA events, not just chargeable ones, but actually free of charge as well. They're face-to-face, they're online. But there is a whole host of CPD that you can do that is available via the IFA. It's very important, as I said, that you do comply with the IFA CPD requirements, but it's also very important that you answer this question correctly. As I've said, we've got Anthony, Erin, and Bill, who's the head of AML and compliance, online. So if you do have any questions or you have any concerns in relation to your CPD, you believe you wish to apply for an exemption, you believe you're exempt for whatever reason, do reach out to one of them. They will be able to assist you. If you haven't complied with the CPD requirements, simply answer no and provide your reason. There could be a valid reason. So I'm going to answer no as an example, and I could say unemployed for previous 12 months. Now, if I've been unemployed, then I may not need to do CPD. However, if I'm actively looking for work, I should still be making sure that I'm keeping my CPD up to speed. So there could be a few reasons why, and it might be that Erin, Anthony, or Bill decide to grant you an exemption for last year on the proviso that actually you look at your CPD for the next 12 months. You've got the requirements up here, so we're looking at 40 hours of CPD annually, 20 of which should be verifiable. That is the final part of the member return. Once we click this, we simply just confirm that we're happy with everything. So I'm going to change the name, and I'm going to put my own name in. These are tick boxes to say that I'm happy, I agree that all of the information is correct. Once you're happy with that, you simply click submit. And that now means that it is submitted. Really easy for your member return. Takes no more than about 5 minutes. can be done over the phone. So if you are struggling to access the computer, you can give someone from my team a call and we will be able to assist you over the phone. Okay, once you're done with that, we can close that page. I was going to stop now, which is great, so I can actually see a comment come in there. So if there is any questions in relation to completing your member return, please do add them to the chat box now, and I will start to answer them. Okay, so we've had someone put, do I need to complete CPD hours even if I am full-time employment? So the answer is yes. We are going to go through how to update your CPD records now. But yes, if you are in full-time employment, you are basically working full-time and you need to ensure that you do CPD. The amount, so if you are full-time, we would assume that is 36 hours a week, a minimum. So you should be doing at least 40 hours of CPD, 20 of which is verifiable. If you haven't done that, obviously do email Anthony, Erin, or Bill at the compliance team. They will be able to look at it on a separate case, on a case by case. But please do ensure in your CPD return that you have done your CPD. And if you have, you may be asked for evidence of this as well. So simply don't put down yes, even if you haven't done it, because that would be worse than putting down no. Any other questions before I move on to how to update CPD requirements? Okay, fantastic. Okay, so updating CPD records. So the IFA has a section within your own member dashboard called CPD records. So today's webinar is counted as CPD, which you'll be glad to know. It is 1 hour of CPD. Any events that you undertake as part of the IFA, booking IFA events online, will automatically be updated to your CPD records, normally about 48 hours afterwards. So if you haven't seen them added to your CPD records at least 48 hours afterwards, please contact either myself or the events team and we will be able to assist you. We will normally try and add it ourselves. But if there is any events that you do outside of the IFA, such as a HMRC webinar or a training session with staff members or in-house learning from your full-time employment, you can simply log in and add it. In my personal opinion, I think it's easier to add the CPD records as and when you do them, as opposed to waiting until we ask you at the end of the year. If you wait until the end of the year, chances are you're going to forget something that you've missed or you won't remember what the course was about. So it's very important that you add it there and then. So we're going to add today's webinar. So all you do is simply click Add CPD Record. You will choose a date. So today's date is the 18th. So the provider, so we will use IFA. Title, Renewals webinar. Because this is a video, because we can see that actually you've attended it, this would be counted as verifiable. And the amount is going to be 1 hour. We're happy, we agree with all of that, and we can save it. Okay, fantastic. So now we can see that's the very first one that's come up. If you need to modify it at any stage, so if the webinar ran over and it ended up being 2 hours, you can always log in at a later date and change it from 1 to 2. It also tells you at the bottom how many verifiable hours you've done, how many unverifiable hours you've done. And you can also email yourself a copy of the record. And if you ever wanted to look at a specific date range, so if we was looking, for example, how many hours did I do last year? So we could look from the 1st of January up until the 31st of December 2024. And we can see how many hours we've done straight away. So we've done quite a few hours there. So we've done a good 46.5 verifiable and 5 hours unverifiable. So this is the benefit of using the IFA CPD records policy, or sorry, records facility. So If you are using this and you actually get chosen for CPD monitoring by Bill and his team, if they can go in and they can see actually you've attended a lot of the IFA courses, the IFA Essex branch meeting, Scotland branch meeting, High Wycombe branch meeting, we can verify that straight away because actually we can see whether you was there or not. And actually, if we can see that you've already attended it all and it's all there, you may just simply receive an email from us saying, we've pulled you for our CPD monitoring. We can see that actually you've attended and everything is absolutely fine. So very important you do update it as much as you can. Okay. That is the CPD records facility, updating that. In addition to this, if you wish to keep your own CPD record, you can do. That's absolutely fine. So if your employer holds a CPD functionality and you have to attend regular CPD as part of your work placement, you can use their CPD instead of. And all it is as long as you've got that to hand, you can evidence that. You can send that to us as and when we ask for it. We may never ask for it, but we may ask for it. So it is important that you do keep it. Any questions on the CPD or member return processes so far before I move into the firm return? That's a fantastic. Thank you, Bill. So Bill's added a little chat in there for CPD. So saying it's not only for our public practice members, it's for all members. So only members who don't undertake any accountancy work, either for an employee or for clients, are exempt from completing CPD. So ultimately, that would be members who are practically either fully retired or unemployed. Okay. Any questions from anyone before we move on to the firm? We've already done two parts of this renewal webinar. We've only got the one part left. No, fantastic. Okay. So, as I said, when you're logging in, you need to make sure that you enter your correct ID number. Now, if you are in public practice and you are supervised by the IFA for compliance with the money laundering regulations, you will log into your firm dashboard exactly the same as how you've logged into your member dashboard. That means once you've done your member return, you will need to click on log out, which will take you back to the main page. Whilst we're on this page, we'll talk about CPD quickly, but on the website here, we actually have the IFA awards. So this is on the same day as the conference. So if anyone does want to get their CPD in for 2025 already, you can book on for the IFA conference and you will also be able to nominate. So nomination is open for IFA awards. It's the first time we've been doing it this year. Please do nominate. If you want to have a look at any of the pages, you can simply just click on this link, click on here, and it will allow you to redirect. So I'm just going to click on this quickly. So we've got all of it. So it's open now. So it closes on the 11th of April. So do get in there as quickly as possible. Okay, so we're now going to log into your firm dashboard. So if we click on login, again, you can use your email address if you want to. If you've got a unique email address just for your firm, one for your member, you can do. But I want to make sure that you don't accidentally log into your member dashboard when you're trying to log into your firm. So I would always recommend that you use your firm ID number. So in this case, we're going to use one of the IFA's test firms, 272. And this is our firm dashboard. So previously, I talked about the different areas within your member dashboard. So you had membership, you had personal contact, address, member return, and payments. So as you can see, very different here on the membership. You don't have any functionality for CPD. You don't have any functionality for personal details. This is purely about your firm. So you won't see anything in there at all. So if you see this, then you know you're logged into your firm. As you can see, the actual name at the top is different as well. So previously it said welcome Dave Haste. Now it just says welcome. So it's a different area. So invoices, exactly the same as the member dashboard. If you ever need any invoices for HMRC agent codes or tax returns, VAT receipts, you can click on the invoices, email them over to yourself. Annual payment, again, we've talked about the payment in relation to changing circumstances, making sure your payments are paid by the 31st of March this year to avoid lapsing. But if anyone hasn't made payment, please do click on the annual payment, make the payment as quickly as possible. If you're struggling financially, please contact myself or the compliance team and we will be able to assist. We're now going to move into the firm return. Any questions so far from anyone before we start working through the firm return? No, fantastic. Okay. So we have 5 sections within the firm return, which is your firm general, your firm booms, your firm offices, your connected entities, and your firm declaration. The firm declaration, when you click on it, looks exactly the same as how you go into your firm, your member dashboard. So please don't look at it and go, I think I've gone into the wrong place. You are in the right place. The main thing to be looking for is the name at the top. So if we click on firm general, and we'll work through each section piece by piece. So it will tell you your firm ID number, the join date, and when it's paid through to. These can't change. These will change depending on when you pay. But all the rest of the information you can change yourself. So if your firm name changes, you can change it. Now, if any of this information does change and you open up a new firm, it is important that you do tell us because we may be supervising the wrong firm and we don't want you to come unstuck with HMRC if they ask for evidence. So if you close down this firm but open up a new firm, please do let us know. The AML supervision doesn't automatically transfer. We will only start supervising the firm once we are aware of the firm. So if all of this information is still correct, we simply agree to it and we click save. Okay, so that's the first part. Now, as you can see, the data has been successfully saved and we will move on to the booms. Now we have 2 booms in this. So a boom is a beneficial owner, officer and or manager. So basically anyone who has fiscal responsibilities or AML responsibilities within the firm. If you need to remove anyone, you can remove them. If you need to add any new one, you can do as well. If you do add a new boom, you need to make sure that you do send us a copy of their DBS as well, because that is a legal requirement under the money laundering regulations. So our booms are not going to change. We're quite happy with those. So we're simply just going to move to the firm offices. So now with the firm offices, again, we're quite happy with both. So we're not going to move any. We've got one based in London, one based overseas. So we're going to keep that as they are. And connected entities is any other firms that may be connected to you as an individual or anyone within your firm that is offering AML supervision that is necessarily not supervised by us. So they might be supervised by HMRC or another professional body. They might be supervised by HMRC because they don't meet our member firm definition. So ideally you should be supervised by us, but there is exceptions where we may not be able to supervise you. If you have any questions on that, please do contact myself or Bill. We will help you. So we'll go to the firm declaration. And as I said, it looks exactly the same or very similar to how the member dashboard looks when it has a little blurb, a little bit of questions, a little bit of statements, and then I proceed. So any questions from anyone on any of these first 4 points before we move on to the proceed? No problems at all. We're just going into your firm return now, which is fantastic. Okay, fantastic. So hopefully everyone can see the firm return, which is great. As you can see, it says IFA Firm Declaration 2025. It has your firm ID number, and then it has the name. Oh, apologies. And then it has the name. So again, if you see a different ID number, or actually you look at the name and you think, oh, actually, that's not the firm I work for, log out, give us a call, we'll start again. Please don't start creating new records, new entities. because they may not be linked together and we may end up adding more information to it that actually we don't need. We don't really want to hold information on you that we don't necessarily need. We only want it for supervisory purposes. So the general is what we've just gone through. So the general, the booms, the offices, and the connected entity. So if you remember on the declaration, so we'll just move back. So again, same as the member dashboard, it opens up two separate pages, which is great. So we've seen the general, the booms, the offices, and the connected entities. So on the firm return, first page asks you to confirm that all of the information you've just reviewed is all correct. We're happy that it's all correct because we've just gone through it all. So we will retick it and we will move on to the next section. Fees, as you can imagine, it asks you to provide evidence of what your fees is. So what was your income for the last accounting period? Do you have any clients who provide more than 15% of the firm's income? Do you have any clients from outside of the UK? So all of these are questions that you will need to answer, and any questions which have a little red asterisk next to them are mandatory. So you won't be able to move forward until they've actually been answered. So the services. So again, do you provide account preparation? So it's asking you what services you provide. If you say no to any of these, nothing will appear. But if you answer yes, it will come up with a box underneath asking you to provide those percentages. These are all the services that you could provide. If there are any additional services that you provide that you think actually should be listed on there or is a big part of your business, do contact the compliance team. They will have a look at it as well. Your answers within this firm return, it helps us to be able to do our supervisory responsibility. Practice management. So does your firm issue engagement letters to clients? So we want to say yes or no. So if you've said no, it says how does your firm agree to terms with the clients? So you need to provide a reason of why, because this is a requirement within the IFA practice regulations. We do have templates on the website as well. So if you've only just started engaging with clients, you're a new firm, you don't actually have this in place. By providing no, we're not going to be disciplining you straight away, but we will make contact with you to be saying, actually, you should be doing this. This is how you do it. Let's help you. Let's make sure that we're doing it correctly. Professional indemnity insurance. So you will be asked to attach a copy of the professional indemnity insurance, policy number, amount that it covers as well. Incapacity is very important. So if you are a sole practitioner, so when I say sole practitioner, I mean a one-person firm, one-person band. If you are in that situation, you will need to make sure that you have someone available to look after your business if for whatever reason you're unable to do so. Now, we use the term incapacity or death. Death is not a thing you want to think about, but it is something you need to be thinking about when you're running a business. This alternate should ideally be someone who is an accountant and actually can support your clients moving forward. So make sure you do put someone down there. If you don't have anyone in place, contact us. We will try and support you by finding one. If you have someone down who is not an accountant and you're not sure whether they should be down as an alternate, such as a partner or a son or a daughter, again, contact us. We can let you know if they are going to be put down, how they would need to do if something happened to you, if there was long-term sickness. I can see a question's just come in, so I'll answer the question whilst we're working through. It's a nice place to stop. So CK Lamb has asked, for precautionary purposes, can we submit more than one firm return per year? I'm just reading the rest of it quickly. So no. So CK Lamb has asked if we can submit more than one firm return per year. So the answer is no. You submit one firm return, one member return per year. Your structure and your assessment and your supervisory compliance is based on that. Now, if you envisage a big change happening to your firm over the next 12 months, for example, you buy out a new business and you take on all of their clients. So then, for example, your client base goes from 100 clients to maybe 1,000. That's a big jump. Your income will obviously increase. You may take on more staff members. You may have more booms. You may open up a new office. If something like that does happen, I would strongly recommend contacting the compliance team to make them aware of it. Because if for whatever reason you are pulled out for an AML review and actually your business has changed drastically in the last 1 to 2 months, they're going to want to know why. They're going to want to know why you haven't made contact with them. So the easiest thing to do would be simply to make contact with Bill, Erin, or Anthony, all of which are currently on this video, and they will be able to assist you in the best way of communicating. It may just be that they just ask for an email just outlining what changes have happened, so at least they're aware of it.
Thanks, David. Should I just come in there? I'd agree with everything you said, really. I mean, there isn't too much information in that firm return that we need you to update us continually over. There is some stuff that's important, like perhaps if your alternate changes, we'd appreciate it if you let us know, that kind of thing. But I guess just to underline what you said, David, if in doubt, you can always just send an email to the compliance team, and you know, we'd be happy to take it from there.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Bill. Thank you for joining. So thanks for that, Bill. So any questions on any of that, please, as Bill said, just reach out. We're happy to help. We're here to help. So next part is fee protection. So again, do you offer any fee protection? So just so we can all see exactly what happens if we try to submit a return without all of the answers being answered, I am going to choose yes. And I am going to purposely ignore this question for the moment, just so when you see me try and submit it, it's going to show that actually I can't submit it. So we're going to say yes in this instance. Although, actually, personally, I don't offer it, but I'm going to answer it incorrectly on purpose and then come back. So again, AML, do you have an AML officer? Who is your AML officer? Make sure you add them down. For the firms which are bigger, so you have more clients, you have more employees, you may choose to have a deputy money laundering officer or a money laundering reporting compliance officer. You don't necessarily need to have these. If you do have them and your business needs them, brilliant, by all means. But obviously they may need to provide a DBS with us. They may need to go down as a boom as well. So think about what your business needs. If you only have a few clients, you may not need a deputy. You may not need additional staff members. You may be able to do it yourself. You may be able to structure your business where actually you do a lot of the AML work and your staff actually provide some of the other services, some of the other administrative services. This may allow your firm fee to be reduced. If you need any assistance with that, contact myself, Bill, Erin, or Anthony. We're happy to help. But obviously we want you to make sure that it's best for your business and you're able to meet your needs. Seen a question come in, so we'll answer that. Does micro firms require an AML officer? So all firms, and I'm going to defer to Bill in a minute as well, but all firms, if you're offering accountancy services, whether it's one client or £1, you need an AML officer. And if you are a firm which is a small to medium enterprise or a micro business, so one boom, one officer, just you as a sole practitioner, you will by default be the AML officer. So you will be the principal, the partner, and the AML officer. I hope that answers your question, Manib. But Bill, is there anything you want to add additional to the AML officer part?
No, I mean, exactly correct. So everyone needs to appoint an MLRO. As David says, if you're a sole practitioner, you are the MLRO by default. Where I'd say if you're a micro firm, you don't necessarily need to appoint a deputy MLRO. You don't necessarily need to appoint an MLCP, which is a money laundering compliance principal. Both those kind of roles are more associated with larger firms, where perhaps the MLRO, for example, may not be in the office day to day, so you appoint a deputy. But generally speaking, if you're a micro firm, you'll be the MLRO, and you just need to be aware of that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bill. So we've resolved the AML. We've answered all of the questions there. We're now going to try and submit. Remember, obviously, I've answered one of the questions incorrectly with the fee protection, but we're now going to go onto our declaration and try and submit. So we've answered all the questions. We shall change our name. All of these you would need to make sure that you tick to, but basically they are the same as what you've been agreeing to all the time. So if any of your beneficial owners, officers and or managers change within 21 working days, you need to let us know. You agree to the IFA bylaws, regulations. You need to change us if your address changes or your email address changes. With regards to offices, we don't need to know about offices which are used for meetings or your home address. Is wherever you're actually conducting your business on a regular basis. But you need to have at least one office based in the UK that we can supervise and we can monitor. Okay, and we will now try and click submit. Fantastic. So it has worked. So we can see, please complete all mandatory fields. So it's telling me that actually I've missed something off. So if we scroll up, we can see that fee protection has highlighted orange. So if we click on this one, and we can see which one is currently unticked. So we know that's not been answered. So we'll change that correctly. And then now we'll move to the next section. So I've seen a couple of questions come in, so I'll answer them before I press submit. Okay, so Bill has answered the question in relation to the appoint MLRO, which is fantastic. Thank you, Bill. And we've got down here, if I am working from home. So if you're working from home, you are a sole practitioner, which means your home would be classed as your office. So it will be one in the same. But if you was working from home, but you also rented out an office space for meetings, we wouldn't need to know about the office space. That is purely administrative. You go there, you have your meeting, you come home. There would be no need for us to know about that office space at all. I hope that answered that question. So we've redone the fee protection question and we shall now submit. Okay, fantastic. And that's all now been submitted. So if we was to close this down, go back into our firm declaration. We can now see straight at the front, it says, this declaration is now closed for further updates. If at any stage you need a copy of your firm return, if you can't print it or you can't access it, please do contact us. We will be quite happy to print it for you. However, you should also, and I'm just hoping to see the page, there should be a section on here which allows you to print it. I can't see it at the moment, but I will find it for you. But if there is anyone who needs a copy of their member declaration or firm declaration for whatever reasons, they want to check their answers, make sure that it is correct. Please do contact us. We're quite happy to have a look at it. Once all of that is done, that now means that you've completed your member return, your firm return, and you've also updated your CPD records. The final things left for you to do to avoid lapsing on the 31st of March is to make sure that your payments have been made. Now, we started off by having a look at the renewals page. So we'll now click on the renewals page. And we've got the lapsing section. I'm just trying to find that now. It's not on there. It's within the membership administration. Apologies. This is what happens when it's a live version. So we've got lapsing and relinquishing. So if as of the 31st of March, you haven't paid your fees, your membership will lapse. This means if you're supervised by the IFA for compliance, we will no longer be supervising you. You will lose access to the IFA designatory letters. You will not be receiving any of the member benefits, the magazine, the recognition of being a member with the IFA, which, if you're in practice, holds a lot of standing with banks, building societies. HMRC is one of them. All of the tax agent codes you would lose as well. So it is important, if you haven't already paid both fees, make sure you pay them straight away. If in addition you have paid your fees, but you have not completed and submitted your returns, so simply logging in and updating your returns isn't enough. You need to press that submit button. It needs to come back saying that you have submitted. If you haven't done that, you could potentially go into regulation, which is obviously when Bill, Erin, and Anthony would be contacting you because you're in breach of the IFA bylaws. They potentially could see you in an RC meeting or a DC meeting, and worst case scenario, possible expulsion from the IFA, which obviously we don't want to happen. That's the reason why we're running these webinars. This is why we've got 4 staff members on the webinar to assist you, to help you. If there are any issues, any questions, if you're unsure, get in contact with us. I'd much rather you make contact with us if you're unsure than to leave it, and at least we can give you that peace of mind. In relation to RC or DC cases, or regulatory or disciplinary, as I said, if there is anything missing, so you could have completed your firm return but not your member return, that is still a breach. You could have answered your CPD question incorrectly. That potentially could be a breach. So make sure you have answered all of those correctly. If you're unsure, ask for a copy of it. We can provide it to you. We can assist you as best as we can. I will now open the floor because that's actually all of my presentation done. So is there any questions from anyone to either myself, Anthony, or Erin in relation to completing your member return, your firm return, or updating your CPD records, or anything further beyond that? Okay, fantastic. So we've got Mubasar. So Bill has left because he has a separate meeting, but obviously Bill's contact details will be at the end, and obviously Anthony and Erin are both on. So if anyone needs anything, you can contact Anthony and Erin. So thank you,
David. I think there is one question by Mubashar Ahmad asking about firm-wide risk assessments. Okay. So yes, you can use software, AML/CC, tax calc, or we also have a firm-wide risk assessment template, which you can find, I believe, on our website. You have to log in, but we offer firm-wide risk assessment template, as well as a policy and procedures template, engagement letter templates, client risk assessment templates, everything you need.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Erin. So just to add on to that, within the IFA, you have a technical resource, and then you have an AML hub. So you'll have loads of information there in relation to the AML, such as what Erin's just expressed. So if there is any issues, please do contact us. We've got one question in relation to when you are done with your returns, how do you get your PC? So as soon as we can see that your member return, firm return, and all your fees are paid, we will start issuing your certificates. So we're currently in the process of sending out around about 100 to 200 certificates a week. If you haven't received your certificate within about 10 days of completing everything, do make contact with me and we will escalate that as soon as possible. So that's for yourself, Emmanuel. Thank you. Okay. And if there's no other questions, I will be happy to say thank you very much for joining. Anthony, Erin, thank you for joining and participating as well. As I've said to everyone online, any questions, please do contact us. Please do reach out and we will assist as best as we can. Thank you very much for your time today.